Hi everyone, Donya Sperry here. I know it's been a long time since I've been on YouTube, and I have had an injury almost a year ago that kind of put me on hold for a while. I'm still on hold, but I have felt a strong calling that I need to reach out to my community, in which case I'm doing that now. I will be doing in the future um, oracle card readings, the energies for the week. At least for now, that's what I'm going to do. All right. And it'll be the energies for the week of possibly for each astrological sign, but more than likely just for the energy read of the community that's subscribed. So the topic of discussion today is not going to be an oracle reading, but rather it is on the energies on our planet right now and how it's affecting us. It's very challenging with everything going on in the world to stay positive. And that's what this video is about. I want to encourage and motivate you to learn ways to sustain your energy, help lift it, but then sustain it. And how do we do that? Okay. There are a lot of ways to do this, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but enough to get you started, okay? All right, so essentially what I wanted to talk about right now with the darker energies on our planet right now, they've been here for millennia, but it's almost like a dog backed into a corner, a small dog, and that dog knows that it's going to lose because a larger dog is going to attack it. So that dog becomes scarier. It pushes its hair up, and it shows its teeth, and it just becomes scared. It's afraid because it knows it's losing. And that's the darker energies that are dominating our planet. They know they're losing. So it's up to us to, if we can just remind ourselves that things are progressively getting better, even though it doesn't feel like it. It definitely is. It truly, truly is. So, the Bible talks about it. Native American cultures talk about it. Um, about the whole world lying under the power of the darker influences, the wicked ones, the fallen angels. The Bible said that they were cast down to the vicinity of the earth. This was thousands of years ago. So, knowing that these darker influences on our planet and are affecting us in so many ways, they're controlling us through television, through media, through religion, through politics, through world leaders, through television, through the foods we eat, and through the pharmaceutical industry. That's how we're being controlled. And it's done in a sneaky way that we're not aware of it because we become slowly acclimated to it through the years to where it becomes natural for us. And we don't know that it's lowering our energies, all of these things that I just mentioned. You know, Jesus, when he was on earth, he called the religious leaders of his times poisonous snakes, viperous. He also described the scribes and the Pharisees that were considered the religious leaders of his time as whitewashed graves, but filled with dead man's bones. The scribes and the Pharisees were known for just putting ridiculous demands on the people, the godly people, and they became downhearted. They became depressed, anxious, which is exactly what's happening in the world today. If you hit the fast forward button, the Bible book of Revelation talks about a weeping and a gnashing of the teeth, the people of today. So when Jesus was here on earth a couple of thousand years ago, he saw what the religious leaders, the scribes and the Pharisees were doing to the people. And he likened them to wolves also. And we were likened to sheep, like people. But we were also advised to wear the complete suit of armor. Now, this is not armor that is in wars, but it is spiritual armor. And Jesus knew that it was really important because we would be under attack daily by influences that we're kind of not aware of unless we're awake. And that's the reason why I'm wanting to do this video, is to help us be more consciously aware of what is taking away our energy and what will help us wake up. Okay? So armor protects our vulnerable areas of our body. And you may ask, well, how can a sheep-like person that we're supposed to be peaceful and loving, why is it that we're supposed to put on a spiritual suit of armor? I know logically thinking, I would think that. I would wonder that. And that's what we're going to go into. It's really important to me, again, to keep this somewhat short. One of them is meditation. This is one of our protections. Meditation, a lot of people are like, well, you know, it really is annoying. It's really hard to get out of my head. I can't do it. And they program themselves with they can't do it, and they give up. In a nutshell, meditation is amazingly phenomenal. And one of the things that I really find extremely fascinating and intriguing is this. I'm going to backtrack just a smidgen. There are PowerPoints on the earth in various places of the earth. They're rare, they're not common, and they're grids of energy underneath the ground. And what it is it's when a positive frequency and a negative frequency cross. When they cross, they create electricity, this like vortex of energy. And that is where holy sacred temples and pyramids have been built upon. They had the understanding and the science and the of energy and vibrational energy of where these powerful vortexes were on the earth, and therefore they were holy places were built on top of these grids. So when we're meditating and our right and left eye, which is a positive and a negative force, they're ever so slightly crossed. And most of us that do know meditation, when we are closing our eyes and we focus on our third eye point, and then the energies are positive and negative are slightly crossed, we're charging electricity, just like where the sacred temples are put, at our third eye. Most people do not know this, and I think this is the coolest understanding of meditation. Another thing is, there's an expression that in silence, God speaks. So when we're training our mind to be silent, to be relaxed and calm, information that's spiritual will come in over time. Not overnight, of course, this won't happen, but it will come in time. So that's where our higher self is speaking with us and advising us and protecting us with information that is necessary for us. So that was just a little snippet on how we can sustain and elevate our energy. One is meditation. My favorites, I do love meditation, but my favorite is laughter. I love to laugh and I love to dance. Laughter and dancing, because dancing makes me laugh, makes me happy. It builds endorphins within us that helps, it just helps remove negativity within us, right? Endorphins help with depression. They help us sleep better. They just make us a happier person over time. Um, I want to give this example of something that I was doing a few years back, roughly 5. I was going through kind of like what I would call a purging process within me. And during that purging process of emotional trauma from, I'll just leave it at that, um, I knew I was craving laughter, but I wasn't in the frame of mind where I wanted to laugh because my energy was low. So when I was watching a movie and something just tickled my funny bone, as they say, and it was hilariously funny, I literally hit the pause button and kept that energy of what was said in the movie, and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. It got to the point where it was awkward to keep laughing. It almost felt like I was going a little insane, like, oh gosh, I hope the neighbors don't hear me. But I was doing it because I knew my body needed that medicine. So every time I would say for roughly 1 month, every time I watched something funny, I would hit the pause button on whatever that was that really had me laughing hard. And I would just take off like a kite flying with laughter until you can almost feel it dissipating, whatever. We don't always know what it is that's stuck within us. And we don't need to necessarily know what it is, but you start feeling more buoyant as you work on this. Or if you're not working with heavier energies, then just watch comedies and just laugh, 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 laugh. Okay. Um, I also wanted to talk about. Oh, I know what it was. It has to go with laughter. Um, One of my favorite movies, it was from the original Mary Poppins, was one of the scenes was where this man who loved to laugh, he was an older guy, and anytime he laughed, he would float to the ceiling. And Mary Poppins and the children, and one of my favorite characters, Bert, Dick Van Dyke, they came in and he was laughing and they wanted to get him down. Well, technically, Mary Poppins did because she could be sometimes a little persnickety, as they say. They all started laughing. The children ended up floating up with him. Then Bert started up floating up with them, and she's still being persnickety, like, oh, you foolish children. But they're laughing. The point is, they float, they become buoyant when we laugh. Do you remember how they got down? They got down by thinking sad thoughts because it lowered their energy. So keep that in mind. It just goes to show how the media, with propaganda, with the news, all of that heavy, heavy, heavy energy, there's an agenda behind a lot of that. I'm not saying all of it, but behind a lot of it is to keep us frozen in a state of fear. And collectively, when everyone is watching the news, it's feeding that vibration out onto the planet in a huge way. So turn the television off as much as you can, unless you're, one of those kind of people that are just like, no, I have to stay informed. Well, maybe consider limiting your news. All right. So I wanted to touch on, let's see, I'm looking at my notes from the Daughters of Heaven conference I was at a year and a half ago. And I wanted to touch on, I can't find them, so I'm just going to wing it. Another thing I like to do in my home is this. When I leave my house, I like the vibration in my home to be very high vibration. So I'll YouTube roughly an 8 to 10 hour video of Archangel Michael or whatever it is that calls to you. You'll find the frequency of music that sounds really, really healing to you. And I keep it playing throughout my house while I'm gone, just to keep the elevation in my home peaceful, healthy, and balanced. I wanted to touch briefly on feng shui and how feng shui helps um, keep a fluid flow of energy in our home. There's so many examples I can give you. I'm going to stick with just a couple, all right? One is if your home is dirty. Now, I'm not wanting to make anyone feel bad. Our lifestyles are very busy and it can be challenging. But if your home is dirty, and let's say just an example, if every room in your house is very disorganized and very dirty, I would recommend doing one of the rooms and give yourself roughly 1 week to have one of those rooms cleaned, eliminating things that you no longer want or have memories that make you sad. Donate, throw away, and clean. And when you have that one room really clean and you feel really proud of yourself, then start on another room of your home. It's really important that our rooms are clean and organized. Therefore, the energy flows beautifully. And it's more of an invitation for angels to come into our home when the vibrations are clean. Another thing, too, is going to sound kind of weird, but it's true, is toilet seats. Not the seat, but the lid, rather. Toilet lids should always be down. And I'm surprised that every woman that I've ever seen use my bathroom, they leave the lid up. The seat goes down, of course, but they leave the lid up. Why am I saying this? Feng Shui is about energy, right? And energies from the septic will flow up through the toilet into our home. So toilet lids down. There is yin and yang. Yin is a water element, which is peaceful and calm. And yang is a fire element, which is fiery, and it helps drive things out. So I have a yang plant on my toilet tank. Even though I keep the lids down, I have a yang plant, which is a spider plant, because they look like little swords, and they will draw up energy. By your bedside at night, if you don't have a green thumb, then you don't have to have a live yin plant, but you can have an artificial yin plant. It's always better to do live, of course, because it's got clean energy that it promotes. Yin plants are plants that have round leaves or oval-shaped leaves or heart-shaped leaves. Those are connected to the water element, the feminine energy, and it helps us sleep better too to have a plant like that beside us. I think that's enough for now that I wanted to share with you. I actually, how much time? Let's work with 2 more minutes, okay? I wanted to touch on something roughly 4 or 5 years back. Have you ever noticed that when something really calls to you, it almost like falls into your lap, like let's say a book or a certain song that you feel like you were meant to hear? These are kind of aligned with you for the spiritual development or the emotional healing that we need at the time. And I was listening to audio tapes on my way to and from work. And the audio tapes were called The Emerald Tablet. And this book is thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. And it was from the Atlantean and the Lemurian times. But what was significant to me is I'm driving and I'm listening to it. It's fascinating, the book. And I hear this one scene described in what the author was reading, which was monks were in caves. So I'm visualizing hundreds and hundreds of monks in a cave. and candlelight bouncing off the walls. And they are all chanting in unison, "Daughters of the light, come forth from Urulu. Daughters of the light, come forth from Urulu." I was absolutely riveted, and I was listening to audio, right? So I pulled the car over and quickly wrote down what I heard, and spelled it phonetically. So fast forward later on, I ended up being at a conference in Sedona, and we had roughly 3,000 online and in live presence. And I was able to share this, which made me really happy to share this, because I incorporated that into my regular morning AM regimen with some other yoga and mantras that I do, calling in the daughters of light. I would recommend doing research on that and find out more. It's very fascinating. What I want to close with is I have it on my YouTube channel. It's called Triple Mantra. And I wanted to touch on not to take this mantra lightly. It is a powerful mantra. When I was in Sedona, I talked about how we need to keep our aura protected. We need to keep our, like we were told, as sheep-like, godly people are sheep-like. We need to have the spiritual suit of armor on so that we're protected. Well, this triple mantra will protect your aura, your electromagnetic field around you, and it will clear through karma from past lives and present. So I urge you, please, to go to Triple Mantra, and I go into a little bit more detail about it. And if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will do my best to answer. So I believe that's where I would like to leave off. And I thank you all so very much for being a part of this. And thank you for your patience while I've been healing. And I hope to definitely stay on track and have many more positive videos and oracle readings to keep you all abreast with what's going on in the world and how we need to keep our energy uplifted and sustained. Okay, I love you all so very much, my soul family. Bye.